Hello, everybody. My name is Stephanie Calderon. I work for Workforce Solutions as a career and education outreach specialist. I serve Del Valley ISD as well as Austin ISD. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about two topics to help you enter the employment world with some tips of how to navigate and adjust to your new employment. So, the two topics are going to be how to build relationships in the workplace. And the second one is going to be tips to help you become professional in the workplace. So, I got a couple, so stay with me if you can. So, the first one we're going to tackle is how to build relationships in the workplace. So, my tip number one for you is going to be to understand your strengths and your weaknesses. I'm sure you've gotten this question during interviews, as it's always the biggest question in an interview because they want to identify if you guys have any weaknesses that you're actually working on, and if you could transform that into a strength that you might have. For example, if I were to answer this question, what is your biggest weaknesses? Well, my biggest weaknesses is that I'm so passionate about this. I continue to work hard, and sometimes I lose track of time, and then I don't realize it's time to go until I don't see anybody else in the office. But that's just kind of the way that it is when you fall in love with something and have so much passion for it, you forget the time that you have. So I turned that weakness into a strength because it showed how I was passionate about, the subject. Say I was an auto mechanic and I was talking about, working on cars, and I'm so passionate about it. I don't notice where the time goes until it starts to get dark. So there's an example for you for that. Number two is going to be to schedule time to develop relationships. So just make sure that when you are in your workplace that you're scheduling those work appropriate relationships with your coworkers, because you are going to be working in a team. Every employer is looking for a candidate who has really good teamwork abilities, somebody who can collaborate very well, somebody who can bring up some great ideas. And that's why they hired you, because they saw something in you that would mesh well. So make sure to schedule that time, maybe like a lunch or a coffee or a walk around the building, just to get to know your coworkers and get them to know about you. So number three is going to be ask questions and listen. This is basically communication, something that our employers are always asking for candidates to make sure that they have strong communication skills. So if you have a question, there's no such thing as a dumb questions. Ask it. Don't be afraid. They like to see that you're intrigued and that you have curiosity and that you're always ready to learn. And then number four is going to be offer assistance. Whenever you're done with something, if you have any additional time, please don't overwork yourself. But if you do complete a task very early, always ask what more you can do. This goes a long way with employers, especially here in the capital area. Like I said, don't drain yourself. If you already have a workload that's taking all of your 40 hours, if you are full time during that week, then don't offer for anything else. But if you can and you're available, then definitely offer yourself available. So number five is going to be a know when to ask for assistance. So this kind of goes hand in hand with number four. So if you are worked overload and you just have so much fatigue and you're feeling just very overwhelmed, please do not be afraid to ask for assistance, because sometimes we are just so independent that we see it almost as a weakness to ask for help, or if you're clueless about something or you just can't remember how to do it because training was so long ago. It's better for you to ask questions and get it right than for you to just kind of make it up as you go along and then get it wrong, and get written up for it at a later date. So just never be afraid to ask for assistance and know when you actually need that assistance. That's a big thing. So that's more on you. So get to know yourself. Number six is going to be appreciate each employee's role. Everybody has a role and it's there for a reason. You might not notice it, but everybody is very integral into the whole operation running smoothly. So the way for you to think about this is, if you ever get like a paper cut on your finger or your pinky and you have to like bandage it up and you're like, oh, it's a pinky, it's tiny, what am I going to need this for? Or your pinky toe. And then you realize you can't do stuff because you need that actual finger to do something bigger that you never really realized that you could before. That's a great example for making sure that you appreciate everybody's role in the network. So number seven is going to be keep your commitments. If you volunteer for something or if you make yourself available for something, make sure that you're going through with it and you're attending that, or you're pushing out the work that you promised that you were going to do, making that deadline. If this is something that's incredibly hard for you to do, make notes, post-its, put them on your laptop, put a reminder on your calendar, allocate some time for you to get those things done so that way you don't miss anything, because we're human, it happens. But if you're self-sufficient and you're making your notes around you so that way you don't forget, awesome. Me personally, I utilize Siri, I utilize Alexa to help me with things. So if I need something at home, then I'll tell Siri, hey Siri, remind me that I need to pick up toilet paper on the way home. Siri will ask what time. Typically, I'll leave work at 5. So she'll set that a reminder around 5:20 so that way I don't forget to go to the market before I go home. So little things like that. Number 8, which is my last tip for how to build relationships in the workplace, is going to be present, be available. And I know you're like, really, it's COVID times. Like everybody's virtual right now, everybody's working from home, but you can still be very present in your Zoom interviews, in your Zoom calls, in your chats, with your conference over the phone. Just ask questions, listen. If somebody has a great story, talk about it, congratulate them, say some nice words to them. So that way that you can definitely be there available for them and just making sure that you are known in that meeting. So tips to help you be professional in the workplace. That's our next one. So I have a couple tips for you guys. I actually had a little bit more than the initial statement. So tips to help you in the workplace, I got 20 of them. So bear with me. I'm going to try to go through these. And if I talk quickly, feel free to pause me. So number 1 is going to be of great character. Be that type of person that you want to be around. So always offer us a great smile or a great energy voice right now. Definitely offer any type of support. Be super affectionate and listen to a lot of people, give that empathy to them if they're going through something that maybe you can't relate to, but just offering any types of support. Can I offer to take a workload off of you so that way you can take a self-care day? Or would you, here's a coffee on me, via Starbucks gift card or something like that. Just be a good character. And it doesn't have to revolve money. It could just be, a good self-act. So number 2 is going to be master several skills that make you that go-to person, that person that they tend to think of on your team for these types of skills. So everybody is valuable. Everybody offers so many different things. So always make sure that your teammates know your strengths. So that way, when there is something that they need, they can always turn to you because you have a great turnaround time and you also deliver a wonderful product. Number 3 is going to be, don't be afraid to learn new skills. There is many times where I've been approached to do something and I've never done it before, but that's not going to stop me from obtaining that task. I'm always a very big, ambitious, go-getter type of person. So I would encourage you to be that same type of person. Well, how am I going to do something that I don't know what I'm doing? Well, Google it. There's so many things on Google right now and YouTube that you can learn. So if it's some type of skill that you need to obtain, there's something in there to inform you about it. And even like ACC and local community colleges around you will have like actual lessons or professional developments. I know UT does a lot of those too that you can sign up for if you're not a student, just to get that professional development to learn that new skill. So definitely take advantage of those things. All right. So the number 4 is going to be share your knowledge with peers if they express interest. So if somebody around your team has interest in something that you may know, definitely give them the heads up. So that way it doesn't take them as long to learn it as it did you, because you're offering your experience, kind of like a mentor. Number 5 is going to be reliable and dependable. I mean, numero uno, huge soft skills. Every employer is looking for these with their candidate. Definitely be that person who always shows up, who's never late, especially right now. It's kind of hard to be late because we're just jumping from Zoom call to Zoom call. But definitely be that person who's dependable, that they know that if they give this important task to, that they're going to deliver it in a timely manner and it's going to be a wonderful product. So number 6 is going to be maintain a positive attitude and inspire those who are around you. A lot of times some people can bring in their problems into work, and that's just not work appropriate. So you always want to be professional at workplace. I could have a horrible morning, nothing went right, I burnt my toast, I had a flat tire, but I'm walking in that office like it was a wonderful day, because it's not my work's fault. It's not my coworker's fault that I burnt my toast. It's not the person I'm helping that day's fault that I got a flat tire. I mean, life just sometimes happens and you have to know when to reset yourself when you're walking into it. If you're not having a good day and it's virtual and you're working from home and nothing like that type of stuff happens, still just don't allow it. Have a new aspect, a new positive attitude with that. And I guarantee you your day will turn around. And so the next one is going to be number 7, which is take ownership. Guys, if you are late or if you call in or if you don't even call in and you just don't show up and they're trying to, fire you or write you up and you want to talk back to them because you're just like, well, I didn't think I had to do this or you knew I wanted to be off for X, Y, and Z. You broke the rule. So if you no called, no showed, take accountability for that. If you messed up and didn't meet a deadline, apologize for it. If you showed up late, apologize for it. If you do something, say, I'm sorry. Don't give an excuse after the sorry. Just say, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. Thank you guys so much for waiting on me. As simple as that. Just take accountability and ownership. And number 8 is be productive. I know we all love to lounge and it's kind of really hard to work from home right now because your home is your reset button. It's your relaxation. So it's really hard for a lot of people to work from home. It was definitely hard for me in the months of like May and June because my daughter was coming out of school. We were all at home. I cook at home. I clean at home. I play with my dogs at home. I walk them at home. And I had to start to exercise at home and I had to start to work from home and teach from home. And it just made my home like this whole corporate office where everything goes on. So it was really hard to find balance, but I definitely made opportunities for those in time segments so that way I didn't get overwhelmed and I knew what type of mode I was in the home. So just try to be proactive, make little notes when you need to get things done, set times and schedules with deadlines. Number 9 is going to be diligent with what you do. So when we talked about number 5, which is be reliable and dependable, we want to make sure that you guys are delivering the best product that you can possibly give before that deadline, as well as like the quality of work. It speaks volumes about you. If you create something, so let's say like a flyer or a poster, something that's going to be shareable on social media, and it blows everybody away and it gets a lot of attention, like they're always going to recognize that with you. So that's a point of praise for you because you'll be able to deliver something of great quality, something that got really great results. So number 10 is going to be exercise self-discipline. This is a big one because it kind of goes into being dependable and accountability, making sure that you know where you are, making sure that you have that type of person who is just, up to your professional game, during the work hours. If you're 8 to 5, if you're 7 to 3:30, whatever time period that you have, just make sure that you're always in that go mode and make sure you leave your professional life outside of work or the office whenever possible. I say always, unless, you're sharing something about your family, it's totally fine. Everybody loves to hear about your dogs or your cat or, your children. So definitely don't take that too far. Number 7 is going to be dedication. So this talks about quality. So when I say this, I want you to reuse any type of resources in the smartest way possible that you guys have. So just look for like personal growth, development, personal things that you can do. Okay, what are my weaknesses? What do I want to work on? Tell your supervisor, I want to go to this professional development because I feel like I can learn a little bit more. I feel like I can become a little stronger and offer the team much more knowledge if I go ahead and get certified in this or if I get additional training in it. So it's not about like your ego where you're thinking about, oh, I have all these credentials. We just want to make sure that most of all, you're putting your company first and your team and you're making yourself the best person as possible. So number 11 is going to be that dedication. So, this is top quality. So grade A meat, if you kind of think about that. So I want you guys on this part to just kind of think about where you are and how you guys can make everything better. I want you to represent them as if it was yours, if you were the CEO. So think about when you're outside of work, if you're wearing a logo with the logo name on there, just making sure that you're representing them because you have that dedication for your company. And number 12 is going to be put the mission first. Whatever your task is, whatever your role is, it's always going to be first. So when you come to work and you're looking at completing a mission, whether it's some type of task or a deadline, just make sure that you are always putting that first, making sure that that deadline is there and nothing else comes in between your way. So number 11 is or we're looking here. So we want to talk a little bit about just being the smartest person that you can with work. When it comes to yourself, I'm not saying be the smartest person at your job. I just want you to work smart, not harder. So if there's something that you need to create, but you already know it's created by somebody else, don't be afraid to ask them like, hey, can you share this? So that way, I can develop a slideshow or something, a presentation for this person? Or, if you have something that you saw that they liked, could you tell me a little bit of where you got this from? Could you share this so that way I can look over it? There's no reason for you to recreate the wheel, especially if there's something that you saw and it's another question that you can ask to get to know your coworkers and deliver great quality. So that's awesome. And the next one is going to be just be efficient and tight with everything that you do. Make sure that there's no loose ends. Make sure that when you're working, that you clean up everything, you spell check everything. That's a huge one. Grammar is good. Just kind of make sure you're looking at things because we tend to move really, really fast. All right, I hope you guys are staying with me. The next one is going to be pitch in. So even when the task is not in your job description, or even when a task is not even assigned to you, I want you guys to make sure that this is a team thing and you know it needs to get done. If you know this person is struggling and there's a crunch, crunch for time, and if your supervisor asks, just pitch in and get it done. A lot of companies complain about employees who are just like, well, that's not in my job description, or I'm not doing that, or no, I'm not getting paid extra for that. That's not the type of attitude that we want. We want to make sure that person is dedicated and committed. So if they have the time available, then why not help? Why not be that person that they can lean on? Because you never know when the roles could be reversed and you need the help. Wouldn't you want somebody to help you? Yeah. So the next one is going to be don't whine about problems. Identify the opportunities and challenges that your employer is offering you, but also offer solutions too. Nobody likes the type of person that's like, oh, here we go again, another change. Like, I'm so sick of this job. I can't wait, because there's somebody who really wants that job and who would work really hard for it. And if it's something that doesn't bring you value or doesn't bring you happiness or joy, then maybe it's time for you to leave that position. Maybe that's not your calling, and that's okay. There's tons of other jobs for you to figure that out. The next one is going to be don't forget to, or don't be afraid to advocate for yourself in an alternate position that you're at. So if you're at one position and you're looking at another one that's open and vacant, and you can see yourself doing really well in that, don't be afraid to advocate for yourself to get that position. Just be sure to check back up in with your manager, making sure that you are talking to her about how could I do better so that way you can consider me for this position. Always look to grow, never settle. The next one is going to be dedicate yourself to transparency and to have nothing to hide. So make sure that your boss knows when you're feeling overwhelmed, or when your boss knows that you're happy, or when your boss knows that you need to take some time off, or, make sure that your team is able to communicate with you on what's going on, so that way they can just be the best support possible for you. The next one is going to be organized. This is my favorite. I'm a big organization freak. I'm a little OCD as well. I love planners. I love putting things on my Outlook calendar. I love sending reminders. If you don't send me an invite, I'll put a placeholder until you do, just so I won't forget. You guys saw that I use Siri, that I use Alexa a lot. I have a calendar downstairs that offers my menu of the week. So you guys, I love being organized. But that way you just know what you need to do, and where it's located, and when it needs to get done, and how you get it done. That way you won't lose valuable time doing something else because something fell through the crack and you had to hurry up and not deliver the best work. So that's the worst. I hate if my name is on something and it's not 100% me, and I know I didn't give it 100%, or it's not up to my quality. So I do these things to make sure that my name is like gold. The last one is going to be communicate clearly and concisely. So deliver the facts in a very few seconds as necessary to get the message apart. So make sure that you're not elaborating or going over something or going on a tangent to where you completely got off topic. So just make sure that you communicate clearly and get to the point, especially with presenting to students. I have learned this because they will lose interest in me really quickly. So just be sure to figure out what that is so you can help. So I'm glad that you guys were able to check this video out. I hope that I helped you learn about how to build relationships in the workplace, as well as how to be professional in the workplace. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a shout out. You can follow us on social media. Our handle on Instagram is at WFS capital area. And that's same for YouTube. We have an amazing YouTube channel. So much volume and content and videos on there. And you guys can email us at k.12 awareness, and you can go ahead and get in contact with any of the outreach specialists, as well as 2 other employees here at Workforce Solutions. So we're going to drop that email here because I might have said it a little fast. That way you guys can get that and get in communication with us. And don't forget to check out our website because it offers so much content as well. That's going to be climbtheladderctx.com. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm Stephanie Calderon, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.